Hi, my name is Molly Pierce, and for my second application presentation, I'm going to be talking about a topic from Chapter 13 called the mere exposure effect. This theory suggests that the more often a person is exposed to a certain stimulus or thing, the more that they will begin to favor that stimulus. The mere exposure theory relies simply on repetition and familiarity of an object. So to begin, in my personal life, I have seen how the mere exposure theory affects my attitude towards various things and stimuli. This theory in the past has led me to a higher liking of songs that I've been exposed to on the radio when I would be driving in the car. More popular songs were played the most, and the more that they were played, the more I began to like them because I became more familiar with the songs. I began to know the songs more than songs that were not played as much. So this led me to like songs that were overplayed more than songs that were underplayed. So now that I've discussed my personal experience with the mere exposure theory, I'll make some inferences about it. I think that these actions that have taken place with my attitudes towards various things because of the mere exposure effect in regards to songs and my higher liking of overplayed songs occurred because of the comfortability and familiarity that was created by the repetition of hearing the songs more than those that I didn't hear as much. This caused a more positive attitude towards these songs than the other songs that were played on the radio at the same time. So now that I have made some inferences, I'll discuss how these inferences can be transferred to other situations in life. For example, the academic setting. So the mere exposure effect has also taken place in my academic life. One example is the advertising and soliciting that occurs on campus at UTSA and by organizations and clubs on campus, like in the Paseo or on the Sombria area. This mere exposure effect theory has had a positive effect on my attitude towards various organizations on campus because the more that I have been exposed to certain organizations that are promoting or selling things on campus, the more I've become familiar with them and the more I have gained a positive attitude towards these organizations because I was highly exposed to them as I walked to and from class almost every day. So in conclusion, having a better understanding of the effects of the mere exposure theory allows us to become more aware of how our attitudes are being shaped simply by the familiar things around us in social, academic, and even professional settings. In light of this, we can analyze our positive and negative attitudes apart from the mere exposure theory, or we can try to analyze our positive and negative attitudes apart from this theory. I think a quote that summarizes this theory really well is one by Timothy White, which states, you need to have a redesign because familiarity breeds a kind of complacency. So we need to attempt to redesign our attitudes so that they're not solely formed by the familiar things around us, which causes us to become complacent with our attitudes towards various things and people and the stimuli that we come in contact with every day. So this summarizes the mere exposure effect theory. Thank you for listening.